the tutorial for today is going to be about plugins and how you can use it. So what I wanted to show is first how to find and install plugins, and which plugins may be useful for your design. There is only a little bit of them that I'm going to show you, but there are plenty more if you want to explore. So first of all, I wanted to chat about what a plugin is and clarify that. So plugins are extensions created by the community or third parties that add extra capabilities to your design. Basically, what they do is help you automate some tasks. So introduce a little bit of new features that help your productivity and make some tasks a little bit faster. So, for example, things like creating icons, finding images, accessibility check, and those type of things. So, one thing to keep in mind when you are using plugins is that because they are made by external sources from the community, they are not necessarily well designed or friendly to use, and many of them are not even free. So, so how do I find which one to use? So just try and error, and I check for reviews. People recommend it plugins, so that's basically my take on it. So where do I find these plugins? So the plugins are located in the bottom panel right here in Figma. So you click on there, and then you have to click on the plugins and widgets tab that is right here. So you can see three different tabs. The asset is something that we are not going to talk about today, but it will come in another tutorial. And so this is where we are going to do today. So plugins and widgets. So we are not going to cover widgets today per se, because the different what is widgets? Widgets are interactive elements that are interactive, add interactive tools for collaboration. So they are more for collaborations in group, tools to collaborate in groups, and like polls and notes. They are not add design elements on Figma per se. They can be useful if you're using them as a group, if you are all designing and you want observations and discussions and polls. But that's about it. So back to plugins. One of the things to keep in mind when placing an element in Figma with the plugin is that just keep in mind where you are on the Figma page. I mean, which frame are you selecting? Because that's actually how Figma can work it out where you want to place it. And it applies to many things, not only to insert elements in the plugin. So let's go. I find one plugin. If you can perform a search, first you have to go to plugins and widgets, and just a plain search. So the one that I find it quite useful, the first one that I want to talk about, is Iconify, which is about icons. You can always perform a search here, okay? And it will, as you can see, there are plenty of them. I'm just going to share which my favorite here. By the way, this is the way to find out if the plugin is free or not. When it says here third-party payment, it means that it's not free. Okay, that's one of the things that you can keep in mind. This shows like this differently because I have used it in the past, and that's why it's showing like this instead of with a preview. When you add it, it will open the plugin itself. what I like about plugin is that it does contain a very, very large library of icons. Um, so, for example, this has very, very large icon. So basically, it's very likely that you will find something. Let's say cake, and then press enter. So you will find all the options. So one other thing that I do find it useful as well is that when you select one, let's say that I like this one, okay? When you look at here, it will tell you the colors. It will let you customize the colors. It selects the colors that you normally are using on the page. Also, you can customize the size. Like for example, one tip: when you customize the size, it does insert it as a vector. Okay, so that means that after placing it, you can freely expand it or reduce it. So try to use a large size, and select the frame of the page that you want to place it before, so he knows where to be, because otherwise it can be tricky to find it after. So let's say 500, and it's telling me where it's going to place it in the persona page. So you can either import it as an icon or like an icon code, more for development. But yeah, if you the safest way is to import icon. Then, or you can import as a component. We haven't covered component yet. So import as icon, which is just, you see, one of the things that I find a little bit tricky to keep in mind is that after you place, and that's why I like to make it large, it may be a little bit tricky to find. So what it does is to place it inside the page at the very end. And basically place it inside the nearest frame. And you can use it, and you can move it up if you want it before all the elements. And you can change the colors after placing it. So it's fully customized. So if I select this and say, let's say Iconify, and I want to select it, and I don't have, I'm going to select a very small size, okay, and import icon. Sometimes it can take a while to see where it's located, where did it put it. Is, as you can see, is not located inside the persona page. It's located in another place. So this is always safe to kind of select the page where you are placing the plugin first, the plugin or the icon. So if you want another observation that I can tell you that I can find it useful, one of the things with the plugin to keep in mind is that try to find similar as consistent style. I like this one because it has such a large variety that I can even say, okay, this matches my design better. But at the same time, you can easily use plugins with different styles. One safe way is to go to the collection list and select just one of these. That at least you will see that they have a consistent visual style. So that's one way to avoid that. Okay, so this is in terms of the plugins. This is my favorite one. Another plugin that you can use is one that is called blushing. It's for inserting, you see what happened here? What happens is I have to select plugins to be able to find the plugin. Otherwise, I'm just looking inside the document. So Blush, it's just one with a library of illustrations that you can customize yourself. They are really, they look really cool and make your job also easier. But something that I just want to pinpoint, as you can see, they have the credits of the designers. They are copyright free and free to use, but do not forget to add the credit for the designers that made it possible for us. So keep a track of where you find the plugin, where you insert the image, and you just click and it inserts the image. You can also customize it a little bit, and that's another thing that I like. And it, as you can see, it changes already on the page while you're working on it. So yeah, and change the scale, the skin color as well. So it's something also that I found it useful. One thing to keep in mind is that when you insert this, it's not inserting as a vector. If you want it as a vector, it's like a pro version, so you will need to pay. This is the free version, and you're inserting as an image, so you may not be able to expand the size. You can only use it as it comes, which is it's a decent site overall. So it's something that it can add a little bit of personality to your design. All right, so that's another one. Then in terms of another one, obviously, is the copyright-free images. I know that normally we use a copyright image. You probably know and you have used copyright-free images from Unsplash, Pixabay. So there is a plugin for each one of these. So you, for example, as you can see, I have used Unsplash. And then just perform a search and select an image. And then click, and it will add the image on the page. Okay, and when it goes to insert image, there is something here that can be a bit confusing. Sometimes it happens with the image. Let's say, for example, that I select because I want the image to be inside this page, okay? And this is something that may create a confusion, and it happens with all of these plugins, like the images plugin. So let's say that I select this animal and I insert it, and it should be placed, looking great. If you notice in the property panels, the image hasn't been inserted as an image, it has been inserted as a background of the element. So what's this? That's what they do. That's how they operate it. And it happened similar to Pixabay and all the copyright-free images for some reason, okay? This is a little bit harder to control in terms of if you want to place it in a different place. Okay. Even if you select a text and insert an image, it will add it as a background of the text, which is cool that you can do that, but it's not necessarily what you probably want to do. So let's show an example. And it can create confusion. It can be confusing. I know it confused me the first time that I did it. You see, it's just the background, and I'm going to do Control Z, just because that's not what I want. So what is the option? If this happens to you, you can unselect everything, okay? Go to the plugin, select again the image, and click, and it will automatically insert the image. And that looks good, okay? But there is something to keep in mind. If you see in the layers panels, and I select this image, it's not on their Persona 1 page. It looks like it is, But if you see the persona one page, is this the one what we wanted, is a different frame. And you may wonder, okay, why does it matter? So who cares? If I select the persona page, if I am going to present this, okay, there is a button here that is tell you present, or it's kind of doing a preview, and I'm going to click here, and this can create a lot of confusion, and that is why I am observing this preview can be customized here to fit your width. The image is not there. The image is not there because it has to be inside the persona frame to be able to see it. And that's, yeah, and that can create a lot of confusion. So if that happens to you, and let's say that you have an element that you know is on the page, but in the preview is not showing, that's likely the reason it's not placed inside the page. Now it's inside the persona. So if I hide the persona frame, okay, it's hiding, that's working. And if I click preview, persona, preview, is there. So that's one way to put it outside, but then you have to remember to put it inside. The easiest way for me to go around this is to kind of do like add the shape before adding the image. Like for example here, I want the image to be inside this element, and this element is a rectangle that is inside the persona one. So if I go to the plugin, say plugins, and then splash again, and let's select, I'm selecting this element, and then animal again, and let's create the bird. Yeah, it's there. That way it can give you a little bit more control. It's up to you how you go about this, but this is a couple of things that you need to observe, and it does happen with all these copyright-free images. Pixabay and Pexels is similar. But it's a way that to avoid having to download an image and insert it, is a way to have it directly on your file. Okay, so the other plugin that I wanted to show you also about that may be useful depending on the project that you are working on is one that is called Figpie. That is to create charts. It's more for pie charts, donut charts, created directly in Figma. And let's say that I want to add it in the persona. It's good for, data like this one. So if I select this and I go to the chart, to the Figpie plugin, I click on it. And what I do like about this one, okay, there are plenty of plugins to create charts, plenty. Okay, so feel free to explore all of them. I'm just showing you the one that I find it easier. And what I specifically like is the fact that you can add the data here. So, and it keeps the proportion, and you can add. And you have to calculate automatically this for you, and I think it's pretty easy and self-explanatory. You can also change the size, like the dimensions. Let's say, for example, I want it a little bit larger. By the way, when you insert the chart, it is vector-based as well, which means that you can scale it up or down. Also, there is some kind of standard color. You cannot not with this plugin. You cannot change the colors in here apart from the ones that are offered. But because it's a vector graph, you will be able to change it if you want to. And then say create a pie chart and insert. It's here. It is in a group. And okay, what about if I want to change it? If I want to change the colors of the look. So you will do it like you do with any shape. You click, you can select the element directly in the layers panel, or just click until you select the element that you want to change, and you can adjust the colors. So it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to use, and I think it's very useful and quick. So that's another thing you can use. Yep, so that's for the charts. Now, the other plugin that is very, very useful, it's one that is called Contrast. The Contrast plugin is designed to help you ensure that your color choices, this one, meet accessibility standards. So it basically evaluates the contrast ratios between text and background colors, and it gives you immediate feedback on whether they comply with the web content accessibility guidelines. So this is crucial, of course, for creating designs that are readable. And that's and I find it super easy. Like, for example, as you can see, I selected text and automatically tell me the colors that I use, and a visual code telling me that, yeah, all good. It passed. And it's a good way to check. If I want to check the whole page, you can select the frame and scan selection, and then it just selects the frame. But you can select each element and check. So for example, if I select this one, so it kind of tells you mixed colors in groups, so you just select, you have to basically select the text and it will automatically compare it with the background. So what I am going to do now, just to demonstrate a little bit how it works, and another reason why I like it, I'm going to change the color to one that I know it doesn't comply. So I'm going to change this one for a little bit, one that you see how automatically adjust and say fail. And yeah, that's quite useful. So that way, if it doesn't, you can adjust the colors until you get to the one that is that it passes, and it just matches your design as well. So that is what I like about this one. The only thing that you have to keep in mind, okay, when you check that if it's readable or not, is it only analyzes the contrast, the color contrast. Of course, it's called contrast, right? But another element that you have to keep in mind is that the font size also impact readability, and it also has a negative impact, and that is not counted here. It's just not factor at all. So keep that in mind, that that the text to be readable should be at least 16 pixels, the minimum. Okay. So yeah. So that's the couple of plugins that I wanted to show you at this stage. You can explore many other plugins. I have explored a lot. But if you find one that is useful and discover one of those magic plugins, please feel free to share. It will benefit everybody. So, okay, so this is the end of the tutorial for today. It was quick. So I hope this was helpful, and thank you for watching it. And well, see you next time, guys. Bye now.